first. We got to know each other. Let me just do it. I'll introduce a few people first, and I'll turn it over to Congressman Ross and we'll do Bobby. Thanks for being here. So, this is your state. You get to make the decision what happens to your state and your country. The more you're involved like this, and do it early, because otherwise your government spends your money. It's your state. I just wish everybody in Florida would be involved in politics. It's part of your life. So. Everybody at Florida Southern for the opportunity to be here. But I want to thank Congressman Ross for all your hard work. Commissioner Putnam does a great job worrying about that. I want to thank Publix. They have done a great job. It's a great job. Have never been elected, I don't think they have. They've done so much for this state. I know they've done a lot for Lakeland, but thank you very much. Ben Albritton does a great job as your state rep. He does. We have a wonderful mayor, Mary Wiggs does a great job. We've gotten a lot of stuff done. We can talk about it. We'll talk about what we've gotten done. But it's not just because we elected the right people in the state. It's if you elect the right people locally, it makes a big difference on whether you're going to get jobs here, whether people want to live here. And you're mayor, and you've elected a lot of local individuals here. Melody Bell does a great job. We met on a campaign trail 4 years ago. And we're going to the same events and trying to get our names known. It worked out, and you've done a great job. And Colleen's going to do a great job. Yes, sir. If you haven't met, Bobby Jindal is the governor of Louisiana. We got to know each other 4 years ago when I started running. We all had known a lot about him and followed what he'd done, and we had some mutual friends. And he helped me win 4 years ago, and he's been the governor before I was, and so he shared a lot of ideas with me. It's been a big help. He's got a wonderful family. He's got a son, Sean, that always wins all the bets on who's going to win LSU or Florida. That's not a bad thing. Is LSU, yeah. So, but Bobby's done a great job in Louisiana, and it's become a national leader and does a great job. So, Seth has done a great job. He was the budget director for the last 2 years in the House, and just did a great job. Fortunately, we've turned our economy around, and we actually can invest in our state. When I came into office, as you all know, we had a $3.6 billion budget deficit. So it's much better now. We're making smart investments in education and the environment and things like that. And Representative Fields is doing a great job. They stick around?
He's here somewhere.
So the worst thing to do with Neil is don't give him your cell phone. He'll call you at 5 o'clock in the morning. And he'll think you should engage at 5 o'clock in the morning in substantive issues. So, but he's a great guy and does a great job representing this part of the state. So. Congressman Dennis Ross.
Kelly Starkman is here. What a beautiful day. You can see why the Princeton Review chose Florida Southern College as the most beautiful campus in the nation. 4 years ago, we asked you to take us seriously and get out the vote. And and you took us seriously, and you went and got out the vote. We elected a Republican Congress, we elected Governor Rick Scott, and Florida has been better and will continue to do better. Jobs in this state alone because of Governor Scott. Cutting taxes over 40 times. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you right now, Washington, D.C. can learn from Governor Rick Scott. Tomorrow is now the most important election because of what we did 4 years ago. We need to get out the vote. We can do this thing. Let's keep Florida working. Let's re-elect Governor Rick Scott.
Kelly back there. Kelly Scargill has done a great job. She was in the House when I got elected, and she's now been in the Senate for 2 years. And she's a leader, and she is committed to making sure Republicans get elected in the state. All right, we are going to win tomorrow. You are going to win. This is about you. It's not about all these candidates. It's about you. You are going to win because we're going to make sure we continue the progress we've made. Now let's look. Have you heard about the Republican, the Democrat, and the Independent that walked into the bar? Bartender says, "Hi, Charlie." I'm running against the guy that will say anything. So, when you saw the debates, he said he could do nothing about all the job losses in his government. Could do nothing about the 1.1 million homes that were foreclosed on. Could do nothing about 832,000 people who lost their jobs. He said he could do nothing. If you just watched what we've done the last 4 years, you would have thought of something. Maybe you should have cut taxes rather than raise them. Maybe you should have stopped raising tuition on our kids every year. Maybe you should have cut regulations instead of increasing it. Maybe you should have called on companies. If he'd done any of those things, we would have more jobs. But he didn't, because he was running for vice president. He was running for the U.S. Senate. And you know what? He would fit within the Barack Obama Washington, D.C. establishment. You know why? Here's a guy, while he was governor, in four short years, he borrowed $9 billion. And then he ran away. Sounds like Barack Obama. He's borrowed trillions of dollars in debt, and then he's going to leave it on us and run away when he finishes his 8 years. But this election is about these things. Do you want a job when you finish?
Yes.
Yeah. We have added 651,000 jobs in 3 years and 9 months. We have 268,000 job openings right now, with the average income for the top 25 in demand, $55,000 a year. We have the highest funding for K-12 education, state college, and university in the history of the state. He did. Now, also something else. If anybody you know is undecided in this race, why don't you stop and ask him one question? Because they know Charlie. You've seen all the ads. You know Charlie. You know what he's like. If you walk up and say, if Charlie had a choice between you getting a job and him getting a job, what would he choose? Charlie's job. He just wants a title. He's always had a title. He just wants a title. That's all he wants. But we need somebody who cares about our families. We're going to win because we're going to focus on the future. What are we going to do? We're going to be the #1 state for job creation. Here. Next year we'll have the highest per pupil K-12 funding in the history of the state. Just 15% every year tuition increases are going away. They'll never happen again. Number 4, we're going to cut another $1 billion in taxes. How the economy works. Here's how it works. If you have companies that are more successful in Florida than any place else in the world, guess what? They're going to come here. Bobby and I are competing. We compete every day for companies. He wants them in Louisiana, I want them here. It makes all of us better. And as we have successful companies, guess what? We have more jobs. Charlie never got that. He never got the correlation between companies and jobs. Because he used to attack companies all the time. That's what he did all the time. He attacked people. It's always a negative. But we're going to do the right thing for the families. I grew up in a very poor family. I figured out very early. My parents needed jobs. Often my parents didn't have a job. There are times when my parents didn't own a car. I figured out very early that jobs are important. My mom always said to me, she said, Rick, if you can get a good education and you work harder than everybody else, you can do anything. She never imagined I would be governor. But she said you can do anything. And that's what I believe in. I believe in the dream of America. I have 2 daughters, 2 son-in-laws, and 3 grandsons. I want them to live in Florida. I want them to have an opportunity to live whatever their dream is. It'll never be my dream for them. It's always going to be theirs. Everybody always, you never think of your own family. Your parents, your siblings always have different dreams for you. But you want to have the opportunity to live the dream of your life, whatever it is. And it always starts with a job. So that's what we're doing now. We're going to have a big win tomorrow because if we all get out and vote and we talk everybody else into getting out and vote, we're going to have a big win. All of us are asking for your vote. There's 4 cabinet members. Pam Bond has done a great job as your attorney general. Adam has done a great job as our commissioner. Today we're traveling the state. We're rallying people to get out to vote, and Governor Jindal can travel with me. He's got a wonderful wife, wonderful children. He does like to win LSU games. I don't know why, which is frustrating. When they do win, it's nice when they lose to us here. But good friend of Florida, a good friend of everybody here, Governor Bobby Jindal.
Deserves another 4 years of your great we're at the end. This is the day before the election. I'm just going to cut the bottom line. As governor of Louisiana, I've got to know both Rick Scott and Charlie Crist as Republican governors. I want to tell you a little bit about the difference between these 2 men. One of the first times I met Charlie, I still remember, I was in my transition office. I'd been elected governor in 2007, had to take my oath of office. You know, it's a lot of work. You're sitting in a dorm room on a campus, you're putting together your governor, you're interviewing people. My assistant came to me with a very odd message. She said, look, the governor of Florida is called and he wants to come see you. It's very unusual. I think we got a lot of work to do. We're trying to put together a cabinet, put together a government, get our legislative priorities in order. I said, all right, he's a governor of Florida? Absolutely. We want to meet, if Governor Crist wants to come see us, we'll make time to meet with him. So he flies to Baton Rouge, he brings with him a couple of people, he comes up, and we're literally in an old dorm room on LSU's campus. That's where we do transitions in Baton Rouge, and he comes to see me. We're in a small little conference room. He comes in with 2 people. I mean, that's not that unusual. I mean, governors usually have 8 with them, maybe a chief of staff or a traveling aide. That's not unusual. Charlie introduces the first guy he's got with him. Apparently he's a New York Times reporter that he's bringing into this meeting. Now that is a little unusual. Republican governors don't normally travel with their own New York Times reporters. We don't normally do that. Apparently he was auditioning. I think he wanted some national stories. I think he wanted to be a vice president. He was trying to run for another office. So he had these national reporters following around. I said, well, all right, it's his meeting. He can bring whoever he wants. But it's the second guy that was the most confusing. I've never seen anything like this before. I've met a lot of people running for office. I've met a lot of people in my life. And the second guy comes in my little conference room, and he's searching for something. He's calling around the floor. He's like, what in the world is he looking for? And I realized he's looking for an outlet. Well, I thought, well, maybe the governor got a PowerPoint presentation. Maybe he wants to plug in a computer or a slide projector. I guess that's normal. And then the guy found an outlet, and he plugged in a fan. It's November, it's not that hot outside. We've got air conditioning in Louisiana. And the whole meeting, I'm sitting there, it says, I'm looking at this fan thinking, what the world's wrong with this guy? Afterwards, I asked my staff, and they said, well, Bobby, maybe it was a good thing you weren't paying too much attention, because I guess Charlie came over there to try to teach me how to be a governor. He'd been governor for a little while before, and I'm kind of glad I paid attention. That fan saved the state of Louisiana a lot of trouble. Charlie might have taught me how to lose $800,000. He might have taught me how to bankrupt the state. He might have taught me how to raise taxes after you said you weren't going to raise taxes. But it did remind me of something. I do want to straighten something out. There is this false claim going around that Charlie Crist, he doesn't believe in anything. That's not fair. He does believe in one thing. Charlie Crist believes in himself. That's all that he stands for. It reminds me of another story. Back when we had a Democratic governor elected some years ago, and there was a Republican president of the Senate. Now, she announced that she wanted a Democrat to be president of the Senate. The governor in our state has a lot of influence on who gets to be the Speaker of the House, the president of the Senate. Whenever I say that, Rick always says, that sounds pretty good. No, but in Louisiana, that's how we do things. And so she publicly said, I don't want a Republican, I want a Democrat to be president of the Senate. And the Senate president, who happened to be a Republican, said, that's no problem, I'm flexible. He said, I can become a Democrat if that's what she wants. I want to stay president of the Senate. Reminds you a little bit about Charlie. Well, somebody wrote a column in the local paper that said, it's a good thing our governor didn't say she wanted a woman to be president of the Senate. You know who my column is. I've gotten to know Charlie, I've gotten to know Rick. There's a fundamental difference between the two. Charlie's not offering any serious plans. His plans may as well have been written in crayon. Rick is a serious governor. He has not only offered serious plans, he has worked hard. Charlie had the chance to be governor. When things got tough, he ran away. That's not the kind of person any of you would ever hire or rehire in the private sector. There's not an employer out there who would rehire an employee like that who quit and ran when things got tough. If we wouldn't rehire him in the private sector, why in the world would we rehire him to run the state of Florida? Let me close by telling you what I think this election is really about. This election is about the American dream. It's about the American dream for your children and your grandchildren and these students standing here with us. The reality is Charlie Crist, President Obama, they think the American dream is about redistribution. They think our best days are behind us. They think it's about tax, spending, and borrowing. Leaders like Rick Scott understand the American dream is that our best days are ahead of us. Yes. By creating jobs and opportunities, our children and grandchildren can inherit a better future than the one we inherited from our parents. Our 40th president reminded us of this. Every generation has to renew for itself the principles of freedom. We are blessed to live in the greatest country in the history of the world, but it's not inevitable. It is our turn now to make the right decisions to keep it so for our children and grandchildren. What we can do, what we must do. The most important choice in front of us is to re-elect Rick Scott At a young age, he became a respected leader in Washington, D.C. I count myself lucky to have him as a friend, as a mentor, as just a great leader, not only for the state of Florida, for our country. He's done a great job for you as Ag Commissioner. It's an important part of your company as it is in the state of Louisiana. Please give a great Florida welcome. Proud of
Governor Jindal and I were watching it together, the two oldest looking guys there. I know they don't teach this at LSU, but Imperial Polk County is the center of the universe. You know, it's a perfect location to be on this college campus talking about Florida's future. Because if you want something done in this area, you better hire a mock to help you do it. One myth about a college campus is that the students are 100% liberal. That's a myth. Because if you look on every one of these successful campaigns represented here, they are staffed with outstanding young people who understand that the issues of the state will always affect you. The myth that young people don't get engaged, that they don't get involved, has been exploded in this campaign. We have 19 million people in our state. Millions of those 19 million dreamed of Florida for years before they made it here.
They shoveled snow for years, dreaming about one day coming to Florida. They sat in traffic in New York or New Jersey or Ohio or Michigan, and their temples just pounded with high blood pressure. And they dreamed of looking at a beautiful November day like this, or wearing flip-flops in January, or playing golf year-round, watching the sunset on the Gulf of Mexico, and keeping an eye out for the green flash. And they rewarded themselves with Florida. They gave themselves Florida as a prize for a life well lived in those other states. But for you young people, you represent what the vision of Florida can be, which is that in addition to being a prize or a reward for a life well lived in other places, you can raise your family here and start your business here and build your business here and grow your business here and take the idea that you There's nothing more influential than what you say to them about the importance of showing up to vote. Too much blood has been spilled to earn for us the right to have a peaceful transition of power, to earn for us the right to return the guys that are doing exactly what they said they would do to make our state. a state that gives us all so many blessed opportunities to raise our families and find our piece of the American dream. Thank you very much, Governor Scott. How important is this race to you? If it's important to you, over the next 30 some hours, you'll make sure the votes get out there. This election is about voting. So you've got to make sure your families, your friends, your classmates, your co-workers, anybody you're around, you talk to them. You can say, this is important to me. It's important to my family. It's important to my future. I believe in the dream of America. The dream that you can come from anywhere. You can come from anywhere and accomplish anything you want. But that dream is not true if we elect people that don't believe in the dream and just believe government can run everything. So we are going to win because you're going to win. Because you're going to get out there and make sure all the votes are in. When you do that, you'll have 4 more years of prosperity. And then we'll have to keep fighting for this dream. But remember, our parents, our grandparents, our ancestors, they fought for the dream and they died for the dream. I mean, we have to thank all the people that have been in the military. My father, in all the combat jumps, never thought he'd come back alive in the Second World War. He fought for our freedom, our right to have open, free, honest elections. We're going to win tomorrow because we believe in that dream. We believe in the dream that our parents fought for. So I want to thank everybody for the opportunity to be here. Congratulations on all your success. We're going to have a big win tomorrow because of you. Have a great day.
There's Anna Putnam's bus, Scott's bus. I got my picture with that one before. What do you think?